We're gonna play Who's More Likely To. I'm gonna give you statements and you tell me who's more likely to have done them. Ready?
Yes.
Great! First one. Who's more likely to consume massive amounts of our natural resources?
I think that might be me. And I think that's all of us, actually.
I'm going for conventional because all plastics require natural resources, and since conventional is produced more often, conventional.
Me. I'm in everything, so yeah, I must use the most.
You deserve the most.
Thanks.
I was asking you, but you confirmed it. Okay.
Alright, who produced over the mass of 0.6 billion elephants in the last 17 years? 'Twas you.
Well, guess who wants to use our arable land for biomass?
Okay, not true. I only use 0.0% of all arable land. Even if it was 50 times that amount, it would still be less than 1% of all arable land.
Whoa, okay, don't point at me here. I'm less than half of the bio-based plastics made. That's less than a megaton.
Who's more likely to be the self-centered host at a party?
Biodegradable.
Bioplastics, because they think they can use food resources in order to exist.
Conventional plastic. They think because they make up everything that they're so important, they're not. She's the plastic consumption problem.
Who's more likely to have nasty rumors spread about them?
Biodegradable plastic. Everyone thinks that they're so sustainable, but it's not actually the truth.
Okay. I'm going for conventional because bioplastic and biodegradable have a very green stigma, and conventional doesn't.
Me. Want to be me, so of course they're gonna talk.
So?
Well, you know what's not a nasty rumor? Well, you know what's not a nasty rumor? Biodegradable plastics are expensive to make and they break down super slowly. Sometimes they even leave behind microplastics.
Yeah, and also if you don't specify how long it takes to break something down, having the title biodegradable is basically meaningless.
Who produces the most CO2 when degrading?
Oh, this is an interesting one. It is actually all of us shared burden.
I'm going for biodegradable and bioplastics because those at least degrade.
I think it's gonna be bioplastic.
Comments?
I mean, the real question is who produces more CO2 in their life cycle? I mean, neither of these two biodegrade at all.
Okay, so our CO2 is offset by coming from plants.
Except for the CO2 you emit with transportation, of course.
But you're also transported.
Yeah, come on. Don't be a hypocrite.
Who's more likely to produce toxic fumes when incinerated?
Anything that's incinerated produces toxic fumes. Don't let anyone fool you. It's everyone.
Conventional, although it's probably a very obvious choice.
Me, I'm toxic as Right, well, I do want to make clear though that incineration can be better than recycling in terms of energy. And also, when you turn plastics into a fuel, it produces an inferior fuel, but it's still used in industries.
Except when you turn bioplastics into fuel, it's way worse energy recovery. Toxins during combustion include
Who's more likely to lay unchanged in a landfill for years and years and years?
Like conventional, because the other ones kind of like degrade and conventional doesn't.
It's not gonna be me. I'm not gonna be hanging around in a nasty landfill for years. Biodegradable.
conventional because they don't degrade, biodegradable because they don't degrade in landfills, and me because I do not degrade in landfills.
So landfills are just the worst.
Landfills are the worst. Yeah.
So we're agreed that landfills are problematic.
Yeah.
I mean, except in Europe, actually. You know, Europe decreased its landfills by 50%.
Hey.
Who's more likely to be the cheap solution?
Conventional, but only because the price of oil is so low right now.
So cheap date.
Yeah, very cheap date. The cheapest date.
I think conventional because the natural resources they're made from are probably also the cheapest.
And going down because of COVID.
I guess people will say it's me, but I think bioplastic.
Do you guys have any ideas?
Yeah, actually, I think conventional is the cheap option here because the price of oil is so cheap. And also, when you're mechanically recycling plastic, the price of the plastic is half as cheap as the original plastic.
Except I'm expensive if not recycled.
Who's more likely to be recycled back into a useful fuel or plastic polymer product?
Well, not me.
Well, conventional is actually recycled, and bioplastic is actually recycled, so these two.
Me.
Comments?
Okay, so I want to specify there's many types of chemical recycling. When it comes to chemically recycling plastics back into other plastics, it's environmentally not a very good idea and super high energy consumption.
I mean, it's a good option to chemically recycle plastics into useful fuels. In Europe, they already chemically recycle 40% of their plastic waste.
Fantastic. Who's more likely to be recycled back into our economy?
I'm just gonna take control of the situation and say that I am least likely to be recycled because I am made to be degraded, and therefore the other ones are automatically most likely.
Biodegradable gets recycled. It's nasty.
I think conventional, because bioplastic and biodegradable sometimes disappear into nothing. This actually goes back into the economy.
Anything to add?
Well, I think, I have to be honest, I think true recycling doesn't really exist. I mean, we are incinerated and turned into low-grade energy products. I am also a part of this, but at least I'm made to prevent plastic pollution.
Also, there was a study in which they looked at how often things are used, and by rounding it down to the nearest significant figure, basically never recycled by reusing.